Hey everybody, it's me Amanda with Once in a Wild, and welcome back, or welcome in the first place to Once in a Wild Wednesday, where each and every Wednesday we broadcast over all of our social media and do a live stream for you guys that's free of charge. We try to do that each and every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are located in San Antonio, Texas, on Central Time, of course, and that's why we go live at 6:30 p.m. We hope that's a good time for everybody to view us and see our animals for our free show. And we have so many live streams that we've already broadcasted that are saved on our YouTube and Facebook if you want to check out any previous shows. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Once again, welcome back to Once in a Wild Wednesday, where we broadcast through our we broadcast on social media to provide a free live stream where you guys can meet some of our animals on the show, learn about them, maybe learn a little bit about what we do, and ask questions. We are an interactive show as well. We like to see your comments and questions, and on most of our platforms, we can actually highlight your comments to show everybody that you're saying hello, or to ask your questions. You can actually highlight your questions and answer them to the best of our ability as well. My name is Amanda, and I'm the founder and animal specialist here at Once in a Wild. And we've been in operation for a couple of years here in San Antonio, and we are a mobile zoo. We can bring the zoo to your classroom, birthday party, nursing home, for any occasion whatsoever, maybe an office party, maybe a corporate event, all kinds of really fun special occasions, or just because. And we can make your day better with our mobile zoo. And we have lots of different animals that you can select. You can actually customize your selections of animals, or we can help you out with a selection and surprise you sometimes too. And we have birds, mammals, reptiles, amphibians, and invertebrates. So something for everybody. We are a company that believes in educating our guests about the animals as well, and maybe kind of dispelling some rumors and myths about animals sometimes, and making you guys fall in love with some of the creepy crawly creatures too. Last week on the show, we had a snake and some other animals, and we talked about some of our creepy crawly type animal and how we can actually educate you guys on them and maybe help you conquer your fears or dispel some misconceptions about them. And that's one of our passions here at Once in a While. But we also talk about all sorts of things with our animals, and we have all sorts of different, maybe like furry animals too. Something for everybody. We even offer animal therapy as well. So something for everyone. So please let us know if you're interested. And the show tonight is free. All of our live streams broadcast for free. As you can see, you're already here and you haven't paid anything. But if you would like to donate to our zoo, you can do so. Visit onceinawild.com/donate. And you can go to the website onceinawild.com. If you don't want to go to /donate, you can just go to the website and scroll all the way down to the bottom. But if you do type in onceinawild.com/donate, that will take you to your donation options, or tipping options, and even our Patreon, where you can sponsor some of our animals, whatever favorite animals that is your favorite. You can actually help them out by sponsoring them, helping to take care of them. All of the things that we need for the animals cost money, so that does help us out. And all of our animal programming costs that you guys would pay potentially go back into animal care as well. And we really appreciate all of those donations and animal program bookings and all of those things. So please let us know if you would be interested in your own animal encounter. Now, if you're not in the San Antonio, Texas area, that is actually okay. We offer virtual animal experiences as well. So if you happen to be in another place all over the world, as long as you have the internet and some sort of computer, phone, or device to connect to Zoom, you can actually have an animal encounter through Zoom, where you can start by picking 5 of your own animal choices, and you get to meet all those animals one by one and ask questions if you would like, kind of like the show tonight. This is what our studio looks like. We have a purple backdrop and some fun, colorful items sometimes, depending on the animals coming out. You'll see who comes out in just a little bit. But we can customize that type of encounter for you, and you can meet the animals one by one virtually too. And if you're, of course, you're social distancing as well, that's a great option for your class or your birthday party, or just because. So please let me know. And we have affordable packages for everyone. And yeah, we really appreciate that. So we appreciate your support on social media. A free way to help us out if you don't want to donate, tip, or buy your animal encounter, that is okay. We understand. You have other things going on. I totally understand. Life happens. So you are definitely still supporting us by supporting us on social media or by telling your family and friends about us. So we are for everyone. We're for all ages. So if you know somebody in town in San Antonio or surrounding cities, we can come to different cities as well near San Antonio. Please let them know about us. If you have a teacher friend, or of course children, or maybe someone who's in assisted living that could benefit from animal therapy, all sorts of people can benefit from our program. So please let them know about us. And of course, we do offer the Zooms as well. And then tell people about our social media, getting the word out about animals, all of our fun facts about animals and education material, and also just for fun and put a smile on your face. That is really helpful to let people know about us on social media. That way people can know who we are and things like that. That is a free way to help us out by liking, commenting, subscribing, everything. So all those things. And we try to be everywhere, all over social media as well. If you happen to be a Facebook person, we have Facebook. If you happen to be an Instagram person, we have Instagram. We also have TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, all the things. So you can probably find us wherever. Once in a Wild or Once in a Wild Zoo. Some of our handles are Once in a Wild Zoo because Once in a Wild was somehow taken already. And some of our handles are just Once in a Wild. And if you go to our website or click in the description box down below, most of our social media is listed down below for you. So I hope you guys have had a great week. We have been pretty busy. We don't have a ton of public events coming up. It's been a little bit hard with COVID right now, and also with the winter time, because most of our events, we try to be outdoors for public events just because of COVID and the challenges with that. And also, it's cold outside. So sometimes the weather can be very unpredictable. So we don't do a ton of public events during the winter time, but whenever we do a public event, stay tuned. Go to our website, onceinawild.com, and we always post our public events. If you want to come out and see us, we will be happy to see you, of course, and we will post them on the website. That way you know and have a heads up. Also, always check our Instagram and Facebook, etc., to see what we're doing. We tend to post about that as well. But we've been staying very busy with private events, which we're very happy for. And I thought tonight we would talk about a couple of different species. I actually did bring 3 animals tonight. I typically bring 3 species, but I brought 2 species tonight and 3 individuals. So we have 2 of the same species and 1 of another species. And it's actually, one of them is going to be our very newest animal ambassador who just came into the collection. In fact, he's so very new that he's only been here a couple of days. It is a species that we've had before. And if you've read the title of tonight's live stream, you'll already see what species I'm talking about. It's actually the African hedgehog. So I thought I would talk about kind of a topic tonight. I don't always talk about topics, like specific topics. Sometimes we just talk about the animals and give you the information about the animals, and whoever's watching can ask questions and leave comments. That is fine too. We do that all the time. Sometimes we have special guests on the show as well. As you can see, I'm all by myself tonight. We're not having as many special guests right now because of COVID, but we hope to get back to that very, very soon. So if you know of any special guests that would love to be on our show, we do have a few collaborations that we've done in the past. Please check those out on our YouTube and on our or on our YouTube and Facebook. That's probably the best way to rewatch the show. You'll see we have a lot of special guests that have been on the show in the past. If you know of anybody that would also want to be on the show and would have a great time with us talking about animals and getting to sit next to me and talk about them, please let us know your suggestions. You can send them to our social media, or you can find our number at onceinawild.com and text me some suggestions, or just let me know in any way, shape, or form. Oh, great. Thank you, Paulina, for that suggestion. Hello, hello, hello. It's always good to tag your friends as well in general. If you're tagging somebody that's interested in animal programming and things like that, we would love, love, love to hear about that. So the first animal that we're going to meet tonight is actually an African hedgehog, and he happens to be a brand new African hedgehog. Now, I don't know how he's going to do, but so far he's been extremely friendly and outgoing, and that's why I decided to go ahead and just show him to you guys. Otherwise, I would normally give a hedgehog in particular, or most animals, time to settle in before coming onto the live stream. But he's been extremely inquisitive, outgoing, and friendly. So we're going to actually just go for it. So let's go ahead and meet him. Now, he's a rehomed animal, as you might imagine. That happens to once in a while quite a bit. Here he comes. I'm going to give him a second to kind of just open up on his own. Hedgehogs, of course, have the ability to ball up very, very tightly, and they have spines all over their dorsal or their top section of their body, and that is for defense. Hedgehogs by nature are pretty nervous animals because they are potential prey for lots of animals in Africa. Hedgehogs also come from Asia and Europe, and European hedgehogs are really big compared to this species. This species happens to be the smallest. They're also known as the pygmy hedgehog, and they are also the most common hedgehog kept in the pet trade, which is why a lot of them end up at zoos, and a lot of them end up as animal ambassadors in mobile zoos and all sorts of things. Now, hedgehogs are really shy animals, so if he doesn't want to come out very much, oh, never mind, he's coming out right now. That is okay. It's okay for him to make that choice. This is how hedgehogs kind of are. Now, the topic that I want to kind of discuss before I get too far into the natural history of hedgehogs, I tend to get ahead of myself talking about the animal's natural history before I remember to talk about the topic at hand. A lot of people think they want a pet hedgehog. Now, I'm not saying that pet hedgehogs are bad pets, but the question is, are they the right pet for you? Are they a good pet for your household? Now, exotic pets in general are definitely something to think twice about. Even any animal, honestly, a dog, cat, rabbit, anything at all, hamster, horse, of course, lots of animals take a little bit of research or a lot of bit of research to make sure that they're going to be happy, healthy, taken care of, proper vet care, all of the above. But especially your more exotic type animals that aren't really your traditional cat or dog, etc., like a hedgehog, for example, or like a snake, maybe I can't think of something else off the top of my head, maybe a pet bird. All of those animals need special care, and you have to make sure you especially have a veterinarian that you can go to when you have an emergency. And it must be a veterinarian that is qualified to work with these exotic animals and has experience working with the specific species that you were adopting. Now, this little guy, we are his third home already, and we think that he is very young. We do not know his age. We have, by the way, named him Linus. He actually came with the name Clyde, so Clyde will be his middle name. Linus Clyde. So Linus here, this is his third home, and that happens a lot here at Once in a While. A lot of times, people will hear about us, and maybe they've decided that they don't want their pet after all, or maybe they're the middle home for this animal, and that's what happened to him. He was only with this individual that I actually met through the grapevine. Long story short, somebody heard about me through someone else, and that happens a lot, and they asked if we would be interested in another hedgehog, and we were. So they were kind of like just the temporary, maybe like foster situation, or for all I know, maybe she just decided she didn't want the hedgehog after all. It's okay if that happens to you, by the way. If you end up adopting a pet of any sort and you decide that this is really not a good choice, it is okay to make a decision to rehome that animal. You just want to do that responsibly. You do not want to do that like basically on impulse or without doing research about the next home that they're going to. You definitely don't want to release an exotic or domesticated animal into the wild or the woods or the city, right? You don't want to do that. So the right thing to do, if you really decide that it's just not it wasn't a good decision for you, it's just not going to work out, is to seek out a proper experienced home for the next home, right? For that animal to go to. And hopefully that will be the permanent home. Now, a lot of times foster situations end up adopting the animal too, or a foster is fine for right now. As long as they have a safe home, that is okay in my opinion. So that is an okay thing to do, but hopefully you won't make that quote unquote mistake in the first place. You will do your research before even considering a hedgehog or another exotic animal. So a lot of people see hedgehogs on social media, cute little videos on YouTube, what have you, where the hedgehogs are very friendly. They're coming out and sitting on people's laps. They're super cute. They're always cute no matter what, right? So they're very appealing at first glance. These guys appear to be a very cuddly, sweet, furry, cute animal. They almost look like a cartoon. They almost look like a stuffed animal. So they're very appealing, especially to people that like mammals and children and things. And they are a little bit deceiving in that way. And they appear to also be very tame all the time. Most hedgehogs are not very tame, to be very honest with you. I've worked with so many different hedgehogs over the years. I've seen so many of them. A lot of them start off their life as a baby being pretty tame and tolerant. Now, by the way, we think that he is pretty young, but I don't know how old this little guy is. I don't think he's really a year old. He might be a year old at maximum. He appears to be very, very young. These guys do not have a very long life expectancy in general. I would say 5 to 6 is a very elderly hedgehog, and most of them make it anywhere from 3 to 5 years old. So they don't really live very long. So I'm hoping that he is under a year old. He is extremely small, although this is a small species, right? The pygmy hedgehog. They should be a little bit bigger than this when, as an adult, but he could just be a tiny one for all I know. I don't know his birthday and I don't know much about him other than what I've been told by the previous home or the foster, if you will. Now, these guys are not really a domesticated animal. Some people do consider them to be domesticated because they have been able to come up with different colors, different markings. They are, of course, a lot more tame than one you would pick up out of the wild and just start holding. Those guys would never be okay with being held, in my opinion. They're probably very, very grumpy, like he's acting right now, but way more so, because they're wild and they're not used to people. Now, over the years, they've been able to, they, meaning breeders, have been able to selectively breed colors and selectively breed temperaments and things like that, all sorts of different fun things. So a lot of people do think that they're domesticated. They're really not. They're about the same species, and they really are the same species as they would be in the wild of Africa. So this is not like a rabbit or a dog or a cat and other animals, ducks. There's many breeds of ducks where there's like a new breed of domestic animal. This is pretty much the same animal that would be running around in the wild. Now they, again, so a lot of them have a sweeter temperament than the wild ones, of course. That makes a lot of sense because they get used to it. Maybe their genetics and, you know, their past generations were more tame, and the more they're bred in the care of humans or captivity, they're going to get more and more used to being around humans, right? But that doesn't really make them a domestic animal. They're still an exotic animal and they're still a wild animal, in my opinion. So that doesn't make them necessarily the best pet for everybody. In fact, they're a very shy animal. They don't really like to be like touchy-feely with you. They might learn to tolerate being handled and held. Some of them might be a little more friendly than others and come out more often, but a lot of them are going to ball up, flex their spines, and hiss at you. And that's going to be most of your experience with hedgehogs. Now, over time, you can handle them a lot. It takes a lot of handling to get them used to you, get them used to, maybe just relaxing a little bit more and things like that. But it takes a lot of time and patience. And a lot of people don't have that much time. And then, of course, you just have to either, live with the hedgehog that you have and just let them be like that. Or, and it may never change, honestly, just like some cats. Some cats are extremely friendly just by nature, right? I had an extremely friendly cat who was with me for a long time, and he was wonderful with anyone. But then some cats hide under their bed when strangers come over, and they never really change personality. And then some cats are open to training, and you can actually, train them to be a little more friendly. And cats are domestic, so that's even easier than this type of animal, right? These guys, kind of depends on their personality, number one. But number two, you have to understand their nature. They're not a cat or dog. So they're going to act on instinct a lot of the time. They're also a nocturnal species. And we are in a studio right now with a bunch of lights, right? Also, they're not used to all these noises, or they're not, as a species, tolerant of all these noises, I should say. So me talking and carrying on is probably a little nerve-wracking for this guy. Before I started talking earlier when we were practicing coming out, he was actually a lot friendlier. So maybe it's me and my voice. I don't know. But there's also studio lights in here. It is bright in here. He was out and about earlier, like I said, so he didn't seem bothered at all. But right now he's playing it safe by balling up and making sure that he's going to be protected by his spines, right? Because they don't have any other protection really other than a little mouth to bite with to stay safe from predators. And they are very tiny. So yeah, they're nocturnal. So most of the time too, another kind of con of owning a hedgehog is they're actually going to be pretty active at night. So if you keep them in your bedroom or you're sleeping as well, they're not a loud animal vocally. They don't make loud screeches or barks or anything like that, or whimpers really. They really don't make any noises except for their little hissing noises that they do when they're upset like this. But they will, of course, run around in their enclosure, maybe dig, eat crunchy food if you're feeding them crunchy food, run on their wheel, which they should have at all times for exercise. These guys do a whole lot of, oh, he's coming out now. He's so cute. Oh my gosh, that nose is so cute. We understand why people love them. but they're most active at night. In fact, they can run anywhere from 2 to 12 miles every night in nature and in your own home. And they need a wheel to run on that's safe for them. It has to be a solid wheel, not a wheel with bars or holes, because they can get their little legs stuck in them. They have very tiny little legs. I have actually seen several, sad to say, several hedgehogs that have broken legs from the wrong type of wheel. So you want to do your research there. But they need the wheel to make sure they get enough exercise and activity, right? But that can make some noise when you have them in your own room overnight. They can keep you up if you're a light sleeper. I used to be a very heavy sleeper, and I've just become a much lighter sleeper the older that I've gotten. How weird is that? I have terrible hearing, so usually I can block out everything, but little noises in the night, of course, can keep you up. So that's something to consider as well. That's kind of an annoyance to most people with keeping them in a bedroom situation. Our animals don't generally live in our bedroom. Our dogs do, but that's about it. So we aren't bothered by all of our nocturnal critters, but they are a nocturnal animal. But something else to consider is, since they're nocturnal, they're not going to be as excited to be held and picked up and things during the day. Now, it is nighttime now. It is almost 7 p.m. So the sun is down and everything. Of course, it's winter time, so the sun goes down a lot earlier. Oh my gosh, how cute. He's so cute. He's distracting me. He's a very cute little guy, isn't he? Oh, he's gonna go hide in my hands and then pop up with his spines a little bit. Oh, there's a little nose. They're so cute. But they may be a little bit better behaved and able to decide to come out and things and be held during the nighttime. So that's actually a better time to train them or habituate them to handling, is at night. And if you don't really have that kind of schedule to devote to that sort of activity, right? I'm very much a night owl, so maybe a hedgehog is the right pet for me, but we have them for education and in our mobile zoo. But anyway, that's something to consider, because they are definitely a nocturnal animal. They are strictly nocturnal. In nature, they never come out during the daytime. And this animal, by the way, in nature, let's talk about their natural history so we can understand them a little bit better. These guys live in the African savannas. Savannas are the same habitat where you see the very largest of all the African animals and some of the largest animals on Earth, like elephants, rhinos, giraffe, those big giant animals. And then you have tiny animals too that have their own little ecosystem. And this happens to be a tiny African predator, believe it or not. They're a little nocturnal predator from the African savanna. And they actually eat bugs. So they are a very good predator for animals like termites and other large insects like that. Termites in Africa are very large, at least the one species I'm talking about. And they are food for a lot of different species of animals in Africa. The termites actually make giant termite mounds. And those termite mounds provide homes and food to many different species of animals all over the African savanna. Animals like lizards, animals like birds, of course the hedgehog, all sorts of different animals, mammals of all types will hunt and eat the termites. And termites also make a mound, which is very tall and very large, but underneath the mound and throughout the mound is holes and tunnels. And that's typically where the hedgehog lives. Underneath the termite mound in holes, or maybe in another type of burrow underground. They feel really comfortable in the burrows and hiding away all day long, away from the light, away from the potential danger that they may face by predators and things. And then they come out at night. So when they come out, they're always on guard. They're very nervous animals. As you can see, he's kind of showing you that he wants to be out walking around and exploring, but he's like, oh my gosh, why are the lights on? I'm not supposed to be out at night in the daytime, right? So he's a little bit on guard, even though he's curious, which is good. That's good behavior, normal for a hedgehog. And I'm laughing because he's pooping right now. Another con about hedgehogs is they poop a lot. Since they are little carnivores, they tend to have really gross poop. It is not like a rodent, which rodent poop is kind of gross sometimes too. It's not like a rabbit. Rodents and rabbits tend to have very clean poop compared to a hedgehog. His poop is actually, not going to lie, a little bit softer than I'd like. That might be due to his current diet, which we may change or look into changing. He seems very healthy so far, but we'll see how it is. That also could be from moving. He might be just a little bit, I don't want to say stressed, because he doesn't really appear stressed to me. But he could just be a little, maybe a little tummy ache or something like that. So we will keep an eye on that. But hedgehogs in general tend to have kind of gross poop. And when you handle them, sometimes they just poop all over you. They don't really have, some hedgehogs will kind of pick a corner in their habitat to go potty. But when you're handling them, they don't really have like the ability to just hold it. So they'll just go on you. It's great. So that's part of the reality of being an animal handler, trainer, and also a pet owner sometimes, right? Trying to make sure he doesn't step back into his poop. But him pooping right now is extremely normal. So if you want a hedgehog, be prepared to have poop on you. That's just the way it is. And just wash your hands right afterwards, right? We're going to wash our hands after handling any animal before eating or before handling the next species, right? We always want to be nice and clean. But these guys are really awesome little predators in nature. They will, like I said, come out and hunt, and they'll be running and traveling up to 12 miles a night. That's a long way. Now, it may not be 12 miles away from their home. It might just be around and around and around. So they'll kind of like travel, but that's as much as they actually kind of run around. I'll hold him up for you so you can see. It'll jump off the cliff, right? You have so much to live for. Please don't jump off the cliff. He is adorable. I think he is just gorgeous. Now, another thing about hedgehogs that I don't want to forget to mention is unfortunately they're not the healthiest animals in human care or otherwise. Like I said, these guys do not live very long. Let's go this way. They do not live very long. Therefore, and the reason is, as I'm trying to say, is they tend to get a lot of health problems. Now, you might take perfect care of your hedgehog, and there's a lot of things to consider, like proper diet. Some hedgehogs, depending on your client, might need a humidifier to make sure it's not too dry. Hedgehogs need at least weekly baths. Like I said, they're kind of messy. We actually bathe our hedgehogs, full shampoo and everything, every single week, once a week, and we will foot bathe them if they have dirty feet throughout the week, because if they're running on their wheel and things like that, they might step in their poop. As you can see, they poop all over the place, so they tend to kind of step in poop sometimes. So we always want to be checking that because they can't stay dirty. They can be very uncomfortable that way. So lots of cleaning. They absolutely do need to be cleaned every single day. Their wheel has to be cleaned every single day. They need new water every day, in my opinion. We actually give water in water bowls and or dishes instead of a water bottle. So they have fresh water every single day. They need to be fed every single day. So they're not really a super low maintenance pet, especially for a small mammal like that. Now, again, they're not the highest maintenance pet in the world, of course. There's much, much more difficult animals to take care of than a hedgehog, but they're definitely not like a put in a cage type animal and forget about them. And they're certainly not toys. We actually did a live stream a while back, about a year ago or more, where we talked about how pets are not toys. That's one of my passions in life, is teaching parents about pets and responsible pet choices for children. I do not think the hedgehog makes a good pet for children for so many reasons. It does hurt to hold them sometimes because of their spines. Most children are not really tolerant of that, and they're not into that, or learning how to train the hedgehog to be tame. Even if a hedgehog is perfectly tame, let's say this hedgehog is the nicest hedgehog in the entire universe, they're still going to ball up sometimes because they're a nervous animal by nature. So they're going to ball up for protection, just like he's doing right now. And then he'll come back out whenever he's ready. He's just making a mess. I don't want him to step in his mess. That's what I'm doing right now. But not for kids. I don't think they're good for kids. They're also kind of a fragile animal compared to other small mammals. They have very slender little legs. If they get dropped, or if they even just fall off of something in their enclosure, if things are placed too high and they're not really designed to climb, they're terrestrial species and subterrestrial underground. If they fall off of something, they can break their legs so very easily. That's actually one of the biggest things I've seen with health issues in hedgehogs over the years. I used to work with lots of them. And another issue that they get, well, there's so many, dry skin. They can get, if they're fed improperly, they can get all kinds of different issues. They get cancer as well. These guys get cancer very often, and different kinds of cancer. And a lot of times you won't know about it until it's too late. And that's very, very sad, right? It's nothing you can really do about it. Your husbandry can be perfect and they can still get cancer. Another thing that's unfortunately very common in hedgehogs is wobbly hedgehog syndrome, which sounds ridiculous, but it's exactly what it sounds like. Wobbly hedgehog syndrome is a disease that hedgehogs get, where they begin to kind of wobble and not be able to walk very well. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that, because it's a very sad disease. But that is something that they can get to, and there is no cure for that. So that's a lot of things to consider. especially for children. The handleability is not the best, like I said. They don't like to be handled a ton. A tabletop situation like this is better than just holding them all the time. Even in your lap with something like this, that way you don't get poop on you and you don't get pee on you, and they're more comfortable just kind of sitting on a surface or something like that. I'm really tempted to just pull this away, but I have another animal coming out next. And I really need, I'm just going to put this here. So this is just one of our yellow rags that we use for cleanup. But I'll let him just rest on that. How about that? It's still a pretty color. Yeah, so there are lots of things to consider not getting a hedgehog for a child. Definitely not a young child. I would say a very responsible older child might be a good candidate, but it all depends on that child or that teen getting the hedgehog. They're definitely not something that, usually the expectations are not meeting. They're not going to meet their expectations from what they look like on social media. You're seeing photos that are very cute. You're seeing very brief videos of them eating, getting baths, floating in a pool, whatever they want to show, that are getting lots of likes and clicks and follows and things on social media. That's not real life, right? Even dogs and cats on social media look a lot cuter, or sometimes not. But it's not real life, right? So we have to definitely do all of your research and make sure not just to do your own research, but also to talk to people that have hedgehogs. Maybe if you have a good friend that has a hedgehog, or you have, maybe you want to contact us and meet our hedgehogs in person, and you can get some experience with the hedgehog before you make your final decision. That's actually something that we wouldn't mind doing for you at all. So you could rent time with our animals, and one could be a hedgehog. See, I told you, there's more poop right there. Look at that. It just never ends, I guess. Oh my gosh. Little Linus, you're making me work for my show today. Good thing I have more towels. I told you they're really messy. A lot of people don't understand how a teeny tiny animal like this, you can see how small he is, can be so very messy. A lot of times when we bring them to meet people, I have to keep in mind to keep changing out these blankets and things, and it's just one tiny animal. It's ridiculous. Where's all the poop coming from? Oh, buddy, you're so cute. You're super worth it. And yes, and again, that's how we end up with lots of animals too. A lot of animals that people think are great pets, or maybe they tried out, they decide they don't want them anymore. So I definitely suggest some other alternatives, if you will, to hedgehogs, and we'll talk about them in just a little bit. But yeah, do you guys have any questions about our hedgehog? This again is Linus, our newest hedgehog. We actually have another hedgehog named Laverne, and so we have 2 total. So if you guys want to meet Linus or Laverne in your own animal encounter, just let me know. We'd love to bring them over for you guys to meet. They do tend to do better in person than in the studio because, again, the bright lights and me talking really loud and things like that. And I was going to say, for programs, we have to change out bedding and things. Sometimes we'll bring these little blankets and mats and things. That way your home doesn't get messed up if we come over to your home or classroom or library or anything like that. We keep it nice and clean for you guys. And I do the handling for you so you don't have to get poked and you don't have to get pooped on. Okay? But you guys can at least meet them and see what you think about hedgehogs. And if you ever need advice about their care, I'm here for you. I feel like I'm leaving something out because this is real life and I'm sure I forgot something. But a lot of times we keep it a little bit more brief with our hedgehog presentation, because usually when we come and do a presentation for anybody in person or virtually, we will keep it brief and we will go over animals kind of one by one and let you guys take pictures with them or of them. And some of the animals are more touchable than the hedgehog, so you can touch them and things like that. But this is a very long time for him to be out. And of course, I'm paying for it with the pooping, right? But I hope this is a little bit of a reality check for you guys on how messy they can be. As you can imagine, this has only been a few minutes that he's been out, and in his enclosure, he would be going to the bathroom all over the place, and he does. Hello, hello. I'm just saying hi to everybody tuning in. If you are just joining us, my name is Amanda. This is Once in a Wild, and this is our Once in a Wild Wednesday live stream where we broadcast throughout social media to bring the zoo to you virtually for free each and every Wednesday night at 6:30. And today we're talking about hedgehogs, and we're going to actually meet a second species here in a little bit. We only brought 2 species on the show today, and we're talking about pet choices. And again, pets are not toys. Pets are not just for kids. I am very passionate about that. Please do not ever purchase or buy an animal on impulse. Number one, you want to definitely do your research and things like that. and talk to somebody that has them, get some experience with them so you know what you're getting into because it's not fair to the animal. If you're not going to be the forever home, you should definitely think twice about that, maybe 3 times. Another thing is animals should not just be purchased or intended just for children. It should be a family effort. Now, it's okay if only 1 or 2 people are taking care of the animal, right? As long as they are being taken care of. But if you purchase a pet, especially an inappropriate pet, in my opinion, like a hedgehog for a child, and you are expecting that child to take care of the animal, you better be making sure that they're doing that every day. You don't just want to assume that the animal is being taken care of, right? Maybe they're not, and then the animal suffers because of that. Now, I was growing up, I'm very weird. I was able to take care of my animals pretty well growing up, but that ended up being my life and passion later on. So that makes a lot of sense. Not everybody's like me, I understand. But to each his own, right? Every child is different, every family is different. But in my opinion, a pet is not a good like gift for a child. You can have animals in your household that are appropriate to be around children. You can have animals in your household that are not appropriate to be around children and just keep them separated from each other, right? Here, once in a while, we have lots of animals that live with us, and we definitely don't let them all intermingle and hang out together. And we don't necessarily let like our dogs hang out with our other animals and things like that. So it is possible to have animals that are not suited for children in your household, but you always want to make sure and consider whether it's right for the animal, it's right for you, and if you're going to be the forever home, etc. And again, vet care, special needs that these guys have since they are exotics and not domesticated animals. And again, these guys unfortunately do get a lot of health issues, a lot of concerns with hedgehogs. Okay. Now, as far as diet, they are a pretty high protein critter. Some people do feed them fruits and veggies. We don't choose to do that here once in a while because their natural diet is prey, is protein and other animals. So we actually feed a high protein cat diet, also insectivore on occasion, which is of course an insect based dry diet, and they also get worms and other bugs. So now that I think about it, I was going to offer little Linus here if he comes out again. He's doing the whole, like, I'm going to defend myself. As you can see, this is a really great defense mechanism. These guys have such an amazing defense mechanism with their spines and stretchy skin and balling up ability that very few animals actually eat them in the wild or bother to try to eat them because they're so tiny and there's not much meat on their bones. For example, lions and leopards and hyenas, African wild dogs, crocodiles, and most animals kind of just leave them alone because there's not much meat on them. But animals like snakes, lizards, small birds that hunt other animals, like falcons and things, most of those animals leave them alone because there's just not worth it. They're hard to get into when they're balled up like this. It's very impressive what their defense mechanism is. Now, all these spines are just modified hair. They're made out of keratin, just like your fingernails and hair. So think of them like a hair fingernail combination. They're very sharp, just like a sea urchin or a cactus. If I were to squeeze, I would get hurt. It does hurt to hold them. Another consideration for a pet, it hurts to hold them. So you just kind of develop a tolerance. Please make sure as well that if you are dead set on getting one, that you handle some before you take one home. And the reason why is to get used to it. You also might be allergic to them. Some people develop very, very bad rashes from contact with these guys, something about their oily skin, maybe their feces, I'm not sure, maybe a combo. I'm not sure what people are allergic to, but I do know about half of society out there are mildly allergic to severely allergic to hedgehogs. It's not typically an airborne type of thing like a cat. Cats can be contact allergens too, right? But it's not typically like something you would breathe in and not be able to breathe or something like that. It's typically on contact. It's a contact allergen. So I think it's their oil. Oh my goodness. And some people will get rashes on their skin from holding them. So please make sure you don't do that before purchasing one, because then it's going to be a pain for you, right? It's already a pain. And then if you're allergic, it's even worse. I'm sorry you didn't like my noise. Hi, it's okay. So they don't like the sounds, do they? Kissing sounds? They hate that. Yeah, he didn't like that. This little noise is like, I think they sound like birds. Most of those animals that I listed, avoid them because they're too hard to eat. Especially when healthy and protecting themselves like this. Like I said, these are just modified hairs. They don't shoot out of their body when upset. They do shed them and then grow back, but they don't shed their spines very often. They shed their hair more than their spines, their hair on their belly and face. So cute. They also have whiskers. But the one animal that does eat them kind of on a more regular basis is the owl. Owls are by default out at night. And there are a few owl species in Africa that eat them. Remember, hedgehogs also come from Europe and Asia too, so there's many owl species in general that can eat them as long as they're a big enough owl to do so. They're not a big animal, but the European hedgehog can be about this big. So bigger owls like Eurasian eagle owls, like our owl rango that you guys have met on the show before and maybe in person, etc. They can eat hedgehogs because they have long talons that can pick up the hedgehog, and they have a beak instead of a soft mouth, and they can actually get in there and eat the meat, if you will, and avoid the spines, at least to some degree. And they sometimes will eat the hedgehog. That's going to be their main predator in nature. And most other animals avoid them, which I find very impressive for such a small, tiny animal. Now, I didn't mention already another part of their facts, if you will, as a wild species, is they are not related to rodents. They might look like a cute little mouse. Let's see if he'll show his face. They might look like a cute little mouse, but they are not related to rodents at all. They're actually related to shrew-like mammals. Shrews are usually insect eaters, which makes a lot of sense. So again, for their diet, we feed them a very high-protein diet. Insects, cat food, things like that. They tend to do very well like that. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. They have a great sense of smell. They have a really long shrew-like nose, and that gives them a great sense of smell. They can actually smell about 6 inches below the earth without digging down. That's to help them detect insects and fun things like that. Look at him. He's so cute right now. Also, they have big mousy ears for hearing really well, but they don't see very well. These guys have basically gone the route of not being able to see very well. Nocturnal species tend to be either or. Either they don't see well at all, and they develop other heightened senses, or nocturnal species might have big eyes, like the owl, whoa, and be able to see really well at night. So this animal is the opposite. They don't see well at all. They see very poorly. No color vision, nothing like that. But they do get around pretty well. They can see some. Where are you going? You gonna climb over my arm? Oh my goodness. It's okay. You can climb. Go ahead. Now that you're in a safe spot. Whoa. Oh, that was super cute. See the little tiny little skinny legs that they have? Oh my gosh. It is all going to be okay. I think he's doing really well for his first time being on the show, by the way. Oh, I gotta stop making that noise. But yeah, that's their senses. They're sensitive to touch as well, as you might imagine. Their whiskers are really sensitive, but also just touch in general. They can feel you kind of holding them like that. And instinctively, they will go ahead and opt to, kind of try to shoo you away, hiss, stick out their spine. Their spines actually flex in different directions like that, so that they can kind of get full coverage. And their skin is really similar to like a hoodie. So if you put on a hoodie sweatshirt and you have the drawstring and you go whoop, and you have like the you only have like this much where you can look out of. That's really similar to their skin and how it operates. They have really, really strong muscles that can pull their skin together, and it makes a very tight seal. Right now he's looking around and looking really cute, but he could stick his whole head in there and be fully protected by his stretchy skin and spine. Oh my gosh, he's showing his teeth a little bit and sniffing with his nose. They do have very sharp teeth. Compared to, rodents have sharp teeth too, right? They're not rodents. Rodents have like different type of teeth. I'm gonna put them down so I can show you. Rodents have teeth like this that they have to kind of like chew on stuff, and their teeth keep growing. These guys have sharp little pointy teeth that look more like a dog's teeth. Yeah, they have little fangs, little canines on top and bottom, and the rest of their teeth are very uniform. If you've ever seen an opossum, they're really similar to an opossum, or of course a shrew, which is their closest cousins. The shrews. You're going to be okay, I promise. Everybody loves you already, I'm sure, little Linus. Okay, Linus. He did a great job. Let's try to feed him some worms before we go. Or before he goes. We're not going to go yet. We have a second animal species to meet. Here's some worms. So as you can see, he's a little bit of a challenge to handle. He is messy. Oh yes, he's going to eat some worms. That is adorable. They are messy. They're a little squirmy. They don't really like to be held. They kind of tolerate it a little bit, and that's it. They're very busy when they are out and not balled up. Oh my gosh, he's so cute eating these worms. These are dried mealworms, by the way. A great treat or kind of topper for their diet. Since we do want him to gain a little bit more weight, he might be getting worms every day right now. That'll help him eat a little bit more. But it's kind of like the croutons on the salad for them. And they do eat live mealworms and crickets and all kinds of things too, depending on their preference. Oh, he's really liking those worms. That's adorable. Cute. He's still being safe by, putting his spines over his face and things. So yeah, some of the cons, like I said, handleability, not the best. They can tolerate it, but that's about it. They're very squirmy and squirrely when you're holding them. It's kind of a pain. They do poop a lot, which is even more of a pain. So you have to kind of constantly be wiping your hands and washing your hands and wiping them. They do need a lot of care, like baths and general maintenance, cleaning every single day. They do need special care, like sometimes a humidifier if you happen to be in a dry climate. Sometimes they need heat if you happen to have a cooler room. You definitely need to make sure that their temperatures do not drop below 72. I didn't mention that yet. 72 to about 85 or so. They probably even would tolerate a little bit hotter than that. Is good for them. They like a warmer climate, so absolutely do not keep them outside. We want to keep them in a temperature controlled environment. You can keep a heat pad underneath them as long as it's on a thermostat. You don't want it to be in with them, but underneath their enclosure, depending on what type of enclosure. Or you can do a little like a ceramic heater, which doesn't have light because they hate light, right? But you could do a little ceramic heater in a safe spot over them too. And you have to make sure the temperature isn't too hot as well. So it's pretty complicated. It's not just like having, what you would think by having like an easy animal. And I don't really think any animal is super easy. Definitely not a toy. What else? Special diet. If you don't like feeding worms to animals, it's not the pet for you for sure. They're nocturnal, so they're not really going to want to be out in the daytime playing with you. They're not social. I didn't mention that yet. They do not get along even with one another, so you should not keep them together. Sometimes I do see stores and certain people keeping babies together. You can probably do that for a little while, but they need to be separated pretty quickly. When they are their babies are called hoglets. When the hoglets are first born, they're with mom all together and she's nursing them in the litter and everything like that. But once they are weaned, they really should not be together. They prefer to be all alone, and that's what they like. In nature, they don't live together at all. They're solitary until it's time to come together for breeding, and mom, of course, will be with her babies. The little hoglets. They're called hoglets. Oh my gosh, he's being adorable. So this might be something that we do with him in programs, is just feed him snacks. If he is willing to be out and eat in front of people, which isn't every hedgehog, Laverne certainly does not do that. I have tried that with her many times, and she definitely says no thank you to eating in front of people. She must just be a little more shy. In fact, I know she is. Laverne is one of the prettiest hedgehogs I've ever seen, but she's not friendly. She's kind of a sassy little monster. But I love them. I think they're a super impressive animal for the size that they are. They're super tiny animals with amazing defense mechanisms and sassiness. And they have to be. If you think about it, you should not be judgmental or hating on them just because they act the way they do. That's their nature. That's how they survived in nature for so long, right? Yeah, it's okay to be the way you are. We love you anyway. Oh, he's adorable, though. I think he's gonna be a keeper, you guys. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed meeting little Linus. I'm gonna let him rest in just a little bit after he finishes his snack, and then we're gonna meet what I think is a much better alternative to the hedgehog for a pet. For some people, not for everybody. Again, not everybody should have every pet. Not everybody should have a pet in general. If you don't have time to clean up after your pets, to feed them, to take care of them, to take them to the vet, all of those things, you should not have any animals, in my opinion. They're not toys. They're not to be forgotten about. And if you find yourself in that situation where you've already adopted an animal and you've changed your mind, either you can adjust your lifestyle to make sure your pet is taken care of and that everybody's okay, or you can opt to find another home for them that's going to be a proper home. Not just with anybody. And please don't release your exotic or domestic animals into the wild of your backyard, woods, or city, etc. That is illegal and also not okay. You can very well be causing your animal to not live anymore by releasing them into the wild. This animal would certainly not make it in the wild because they don't tolerate any low temperatures. Are you ready to go back? Okay, that is fine. So we're gonna let Linus go back and rest. We'll say goodbye one more time to him. Pretty cute. Everybody loves him, right? He has a little hair on top of him that I can get rid of there. Oh my gosh, he showed his little teeth to everybody. How cute. We're definitely gonna let him stick around, right? And I think he did a great job for his first time, and he was looking really sharp, if I do say so myself. Very cute. Well, what did you guys think of Linus? Do you like his name? We have a Laverne as well. Laverne and Linus. So I do want to talk to you guys about something really quick, just to be a little transparent about something we went through with one of our hedgehogs not too long ago. We don't always talk about this on the show because we do like to keep it very positive and, of course, family friendly at all times. And if you're just joining us, hi, my name is Amanda, and this is Once in a Wild Wednesday. Once in a Wild is our mobile zoo company here in San Antonio, Texas. So we were talking a little bit about hedgehogs and whether or not they make good pets. The short answer is really no. They don't really make the best pets, in my opinion. And one reason is going to be because of their health issues. Now, unfortunately, not too long ago, we actually did lose one of our hedgehogs. And I didn't know if I wanted to talk about this or not, but I think you guys understand. It was absolutely nothing that could be helped. She ended up getting cancer. And she did not suffer or anything like that. She actually passed away very quickly. It turned out, long story short, we found out that she had cancer. And that's what actually why we had to say goodbye to her, which is really sad. Her name was Shirley. She was Laverne's sister. Laverne and Shirley makes a lot of sense. But it does happen, and that's the reality of having animals. Most of it's really fun. There's a lot of work, a lot of smiles, a lot of laughs, but sometimes you have to cry as well because sometimes our animals will leave us, right? And that's nothing that we can help sometimes. So I want you guys to know that we take the very best care that we possibly can of our animals, but sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes our animals will get ill or sick anyway. So I just wanted to let you guys know. I wanted to be pretty transparent about that. I won't talk about it too much because it's kind of sad. But yeah, so we love Shirley. Shirley was a great animal ambassador. She was actually the hedgehog that we used the most for programs. I'm sure you've seen her on the show. She was on the news not too long ago. But unfortunately, she didn't make it. And we miss her. And she was wonderful. And I'm sure she had a really fun life here Once in a Wild and a really happy life. She was about 3 years old. So that unfortunately can happen. Like I said, these guys live anywhere from 3 to 5. The very oldest, maybe 6. But that would be like a 100-year-old person. They really don't have the longest life expectancy. And I sure hope that little Linus is young, like I think he is. So thank you guys for being understanding about that. It does happen. And these are not toys, they're real life animals. So that does happen sometimes. And that is definitely the reality of if you're wanting a pet at home, if you're wanting a pet for your children. Unfortunately, that's one of the hardest parts about that, of course, as you guys know. So, and life in general, right? So we are going to move on. I think Linus did a great job. If you would like to meet Linus for yourself in person, or you would like to meet him virtually, just let us know. And we will bring Linus for your animal program. Especially for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and, like I said, we're going to meet an alternative animal. I'm going to put the worms away. We don't need the worms anymore because the animal species coming up next is going to be a vegetarian, so they don't actually eat any worms. So if you're uncomfortable feeding animals worms, this might be an alternative animal for you to adopt. Now, again, I don't recommend that everybody just goes out and adopts animals, but this is one of our guinea pigs. His name is Iggy. I'm going to give Iggy a little snack so that he hangs out on the table for a second. These guys are wonderful, you guys. Iggy is a Peruvian guinea pig. He is going to eat some romaine lettuce for you guys and look really cute. And his best friend Dexter is coming on the show as well. Come on out, Dexter. And I'm going to give Dexter a little bit of a snack as well so he doesn't steal it from Iggy. Oh no, I should have given it to him ahead of time. There we go. So we don't have any arguments between them. Okay, so this is a couple of beautiful guinea pigs. Now, like I said, Iggy is a Peruvian guinea pig, and Dexter is actually an American guinea pig. Now, that just is indicating their breed. All guinea pigs actually come from the Americas because guinea pigs come from Peru and other areas in South America. They are not from Guinea. Guinea is a country in Africa, of course, if you know your geography. Guinea actually is what they used to cost when they were first brought into the pet trade many, many, many years ago in Europe. Europeans actually observed when they were going over to discover the Americas or colonize and everything like that. When they were observing the Incas in South America and other people actually raising guinea pigs for food. They actually raised them in little mini farms for food and eventually for pets as well. So sometimes guinea pigs or KVs, what they called them, or Kui actually. Kui, KV, guinea pig, all the same thing. Different names for the same animal. And they would keep them in little like mini farms. Some of them would be more pets than farmed for food, but most of them are farmed for food. and other things like that. And Europeans actually fell in love with them very, very quickly and brought them over to Europe, and they would often sell them for 1 guinea or 2 guinea, and they ended up being called the guinea pig. They're also not a pig, they're a type of rodent. These animals are very closely related to hamsters, squirrels, rats, mice. Capybara is another counterpart to them in South America, right? That's a very large rodent. The capybara is the largest species of rodent in the entire world. This is one of the kind of smaller species, right? They're not the smallest ever. There's much smaller species of rodent. These guys are really cute, number one. They're kind of potato sized. I always call them like furry potato. But Iggy is a Peruvian. Peruvians have these 3 points on the face. They have a point right here on the top of the head, looks like a unicorn horn, and they have 2 cheek points as well. And this hair on the face does not keep growing and growing, but all the hair on his body grows like a horse's mane all over him and is straight and silky. The American guinea pigs, which is what Dexter is, he's a solid colored American guinea pig. This guy is a red and white, broken red and white is what it's called. Got like the broken white parts, right? He's a solid or self all black. It's like a raven black. Some American guinea pigs have different colors, right? Both these breeds can have different colors. But he's an American guinea pig, which is the most common that you see here in the United States. So they call them the American guinea pig, and they have the short hair. So he's a lot less maintenance as far as grooming and things like that than Iggy is. Iggy's super worth it, but he gets a bath once a week, full bath, full shampoo and conditioner. He has to take a long time drying, or we dry him with a blow dryer sometimes. It takes a while. Kind of like a little dog, or maybe like a Yorkie or something like that. His hair continuously grows, like I said, on most of the length here. So we do have to trim it periodically as it gets long. We also have to brush him every day. Dexter doesn't need to be brushed. You guys don't argue over your salad, okay? Dexter does not have to be brushed every day. Do not argue over salad. There's plenty for both of you. Oh my gosh. Is this going to be like Lady and the Tramp moment? That would be extra cute. I'm hoping that they don't have a little argument over their food. Now, these guys are very social. As you can see, they get along great. Most guinea pigs get along wonderfully together. I don't recommend keeping guinea pigs of the opposite gender together, because you might get a little bit too friendly and then end up with lots of babies. And you don't want to overbreed them if you don't know what you're doing. You don't want to breed them at all if you don't know what you're doing. So it's always important to keep the same gender together. That way they have social time, but no illegitimate children, right? But Dexter has a lot less grooming time. His hair is silky and short and very easy to take care of. So if you're not super into the brushing and the blow drying and the conditioning and the shampooing and the trimming and all the things, I don't recommend the Peruvian, but the Peruvians are the friendliest, so I love them. But he still requires general, we have to look over him, make sure he's not getting dirty and things like that. If he does get dirty, he gets a bath too. He needs nail trims twice a month, I would say, is probably how often we trim his nails. I just check them all the time to make sure they're not getting too long. These guys are very easy to trim their nails compared to other animals, in my opinion. They do very well with grooming in general. They too tend to be a little bit of a skittish animal sometimes. That is very normal for guinea pigs. Once you pick, oh my gosh. Settle down. We'll separate you guys. Once they do get picked up and scooped up and handled, they are fine once they are scooped up. But sometimes you have to kind of gently chase them and grab them up. That is super normal. I don't want you guys to be discouraged if your guinea pigs are not friendly per se. Natural instinct takes over for them because they are such prey animals. These guys have very, very little defense mechanism. They have no spines, right, on their backs. So any animal can just kind of scoop them up and eat them. They also don't have very big mouths, and their teeth are rodent teeth, so they do have sharpish teeth, but their mouth is tiny, like this big. So they don't really use biting as a defense mechanism. Their main way to stay safe is living in big groups. They're called herds. Herds of guinea pigs is what the groups are called. And let me see if they can maybe not eat anymore. Hopefully, right? Hopefully that's enough for them to stay happy. Staying in groups for safety in numbers is a great way to stay safe, and just running away and hiding underneath stuff. So if you have a guinea pig in an enclosure, first of all, it has to be pretty big enclosure because these guys are very active. They're kind of the opposite of the hedgehog. These guys are neither nocturnal or diurnal, but they are awake a lot. Hedgehogs sleep a lot all day long. These guys are awake for 20 hours a day. That's right. They only sleep for about 4 hours every single 24-hour period. And they usually just take little tiny naps throughout the day. They're not going to sleep for 4 hours straight. I really wish I could do that and have enough energy to just, be active throughout my day on 4 hours of sleep, like tiny naps. But no, I would be a lot more productive that way. These guys actually are up a lot. So they need a lot of space to run around, play, be with each other. They do make big messes. They're not a low maintenance animal, but they're a much more appropriate, in my opinion, pet for handling, petting. They tend to tolerate humans a lot more than hedgehogs. Their poop is not as gross, in my opinion, as hedgehogs, but they do go to the restroom quite a bit. Hi, baby. But these guys are social animals. So for that reason alone, they tend to be a much better candidate, even if they are on the nervous side. Dexter is a much more nervous by nature he's not a hedgehog, guinea pig than Iggy is. Iggy is very outgoing. So if you ever want a guinea pig, maybe rent some time with our guinea pigs first and see how you like them. But you can also adopt. We do not recommend just buying guinea pigs from pet stores if you've never had one before. We want to make sure that you guys are getting the best guinea pig for you. So a lot of times if you go through an adoption process, those guinea pigs can be screened. Maybe they're already adults and their personality has come out, because babies can be one way and then change, right? But a guinea pig adoption, maybe specialist or something like that, which we actually have one right here in San Antonio if you happen to be in our area. It's called Second Chance KV. They're an adoption group. They have like a rescue basically, and they have like secondhand animals, right, that they can number one, match together to make sure that they get along together. If you want a group of guinea pigs, then usually you should have a group of guinea pigs if you have them, so that they are nice and what's the word, they have company, right? But another reason is to see their personality for you. You might want a more outgoing and friendly guinea pig, or you may be a little bit more just like indifferent to that. That is a great way to kind of find out what kind of guinea pig you're getting. Adoption agencies, I would say groups or rescues is the best way to go for that. Or you can actually just ask around and see if anybody is trying to rehome their guinea pig, because again, it happens all the time. Iggy is actually a rehomed guinea pig that came to us from another home, and he's had several homes too, just like Linus. I don't understand about Iggy, because he's absolutely perfect in every way. We absolutely love Iggy. He's one of our most popular animal ambassadors for all sorts of programs because he is so friendly and outgoing. Can you hear the little noises that they're making? So Iggy is showing you how they purr. Let's see, I think they're just still looking for more lettuce. That's why they're getting a little sassy. But usually he will react with purring whenever we pet him. That's one sound that guinea pigs make. Another sound that guinea pigs make is the weeking that you're hearing right now. That's just kind of how they talk. They're probably looking for more snacks and wondering why I'm not feeding them some more. And yeah, so guinea pigs are rodents. They are potato-shaped and sized with hair right on top, but otherwise they don't have a tail. They're kind of just like little potato shaped. They are not too big and not too small, in my opinion. They're not an animal that is good at escaping. A lot of your rodent species like hamsters, rats, mice can make pretty decent pets sometimes. They're another animal that a lot of people think are low maintenance, that they end up being a little more high maintenance than expected. So always do your research and get some experience and talk to somebody that has one or them. But these guys do not escape through small holes. They cannot climb. They're not really that good at jumping, etc. They can maybe hop a little bit. But they're actually, in my opinion, a little bit of an easier animal to keep in that regard, because it's easy to house them. Now, again, guinea pigs need a lot more room than people realize when you go to a pet store and things like that. A lot of your pet store type enclosures are not appropriately sized for guinea pigs. I recommend a CNC cage. If you ever want to know any more information on that, you can look it up, CNC cage. And it's usually a cage that you have to construct on your own, but it's super worth it. It's kind of a cage that you would put on a big tabletop, and you could basically access them just from reaching in, and they don't really need a lid unless you have like a cat or a dog that's going to go after them, and then you need a lid for their safety. But these guys don't jump out. They can't climb out either. So that's a really fun way to keep them. But they do need a lot of cleaning. These guys do use the restroom a lot. They don't really go potty in like one particular area. They kind of just go wherever. But if you keep them on the right bedding and things like that, they're very easy to clean up after. And they don't generally bite. They're not generally smelly or gross in general. Hedgehogs don't really have a bad smell either, but they're a lot stinkier than a guinea pig, in my opinion. So yeah, and these guys, their diet is there's no meat. They do eat nothing but vegetables. Their main diet is actually going to be hay. So we give them Timothy hay all the time. Remember, they're up pretty much all the time. And these animals are grazers. So what they will do in nature is just kind of move around in South America, in savannas, jungles, different places like that has grass and weeds and plants to eat. And they will just graze on grasses and weeds all the time. And they need to be eating all the time to help their digestion move and to keep them healthy and happy. They also need to be eating hay and chewing on other items like veggies and maybe even toys to keep their teeth worn down because they're rodents and their teeth will grow very, very long if they're not eating the right thing or if they are not chewing on something. The easiest way to do that, to be honest, is by feeding them Timothy hay or orchard hay. Timothy and orchard hay are both good options for guinea pigs and rabbits. Oh, Iggy is so cute. And Dexter's very cute too. But they will graze on that pretty much all day. And then once a day, we feed them vegetables, typically in the morning. As you can see, they can get romaine lettuce, but they also get collard greens, mustard greens, sometimes kale on occasion. They'll get different vegetables as well, like sweet potato and sometimes squash, cucumber, all kinds of different options. So they just get like a little bit of that every single day. And then at night, they get 1/8 of a cup of their pellets. And the reason I recommend pellets is because their pellets have vitamin C, which guinea pigs actually need as well. You can either give vitamin C just liquid, like children's vitamin C. But the easiest way, honestly, is by getting a vitamin C infused pellet. Oxbow makes a really good one. That's what we feed our guinea pigs. Oxbow makes a really good young guinea pig diet if you have a baby, and they make a really good adult guinea pig diet if you have adults. And they actually have a few flavors if your guinea pigs are picky. I've never met a guinea pig that didn't like really any type of pellet because that's one of their favorite foods. Very tasty for them. But they only get 1/8 of a cup, so it's just like a little bit for each guinea pig once a day. And we do the pellets in the PM, and we do their salad in the AM, or their veggies in the AM. They're pretty easy to feed. There's a lot of information also on guinea pigs. A lot of veterinarians see guinea pigs, and they do have quite a longer life expectancy and better health when taken care of and properly fed and all that than a hedgehog. So in my opinion, these guys are a much better alternative. Still some work involved, but a lot friendlier, a lot more social, a lot more, I think, doable for most households to be able to keep them happy and healthy. And they do better with a friend. So the best thing, like I said, is to kind of go through an adoption process. Maybe see if some guinea pigs need a home. Maybe they aren't wanted in their home already, and they need a home, and you're kind of saving their little life, right? Now, if you guys want more information on guinea pig care, I'm more than happy to do a live stream all about guinea pig care. I actually did one all about rabbit care not too long ago. It's on our playlist over on YouTube, or it's at least on YouTube in our past videos. That was a fun one to do. And I also did one on bird care. That one did very, very well as well. What do you guys have to say about our guinea pigs or hedgehog? That's very specific. Nikki says, how do rodents/marsupials keep their teeth clean? I don't know why you're lumping marsupials and rodents together. Rodents have very different teeth than marsupials. Most marsupials have kind of pointy teeth, like an opossum, but animals like kangaroos have more chewing teeth, right? Because they're grazers like a rabbit. So I guess I take it back. But it is different than a rodent. Rodents and rabbits, which are lagomorphs and are actually rabbits, pikas, and hares. Those guys have ever-growing incisor teeth on top and bottom, just like a rodent. But lagomorphs, like rabbits, have 4 teeth on top and 2 on bottom, and rodents have 2 teeth on top and 2 on bottom. And then you've got animals like kangaroos and some weirdos like that. How do they keep their teeth clean? Most wild animals do not keep their teeth clean very well, to be honest with you. But if rodents and rabbits are eating the right diet, their teeth can be the right length, and their teeth are going to be a lot cleaner than they would be if they're eating nothing but junk food like carrots and fruit. Did you guys know that rabbits do not eat carrots in their regular part of their diet? That is a myth that comes from Bugs Bunny. In human care, a lot of people do feed them carrots, but it should only be a sometimes snack or treat on occasion, not every day. It has a lot of sugar in it. So for rabbits, they eat a similar diet to our guinea pigs. It's going to be Timothy hay or orchard hay all the time. And then they also get healthy greens like mustard greens, collard greens, kale, romaine sometimes. They really like romaine as a treat. And items like sweet potato sometimes, and maybe squash. Some items here and there. For training, they might get carrots or fruit. But you want to keep those to a minimum. And then rabbits, as young rabbits get pellets, but then you should wean them off of pellets as they get older. So our rabbit Sandor is older now, not old, but he's 3, and he doesn't really need pellets anymore. So we don't feed him pellets. We feed him hay and veggies in the morning, and that's it. These guys get their pellets so they can get their vitamin C. That's really important for guinea pigs. We have Iggy showing his best side and Dexter showing his front side here. Super cute. But yeah, so animals in general in the wild don't necessarily keep their teeth amazingly clean because there's no dental care or teeth brushing. But if animals like rodents, for example, eat the right diet, then their teeth should be okay. I hope that makes sense. But it really all depends. There's a big spectrum of different teeth and teeth care, I guess, if you want to call it that, in the wild. And every species is different. Now, animals like dogs in the wild, like wolves, if they're eating a lot of raw meat, which is what they should be eating, right? They're hunting and eating raw meat and things. By gnawing and eating some of those items like raw bone, hair, all sorts of things, hopefully they're working their teeth a little bit and they're not just eating like kibble or soft food. And kibble and soft food can create a lot more tartar in domestic dogs than it can for wolves eating raw diet. Yeah, our ferrets eat raw diet too. Here in our care. Okay, you guys. Yes, that is true, Nikki, but we're not going to be talking about rabbits today. We're talking about guinea pigs. So let's talk a little bit more about guinea pigs. So again, in my opinion, a much better alternative to the hedgehog, but not a good choice for everybody. Not everybody should have every pet, right? If you don't have the time to clean them once or twice a day, which we clean them twice a day because we have 4 of them. If you're not able to do that and you're not able to bathe them, trim their nails, take them to the vet when they get sick or for regular checkups, feed them the proper diet, have a big enough cage for them to be nice and happy, then you shouldn't have them, frankly. And a lot of people ask me, like, what's a super easy pet for my kid? And that's a really not a very good question. A pet should not just be for your child; they should be for the family. It's okay if 1 or 2 people are the main responsibility for taking care of the animal. That's how I grew up, to be honest with you. I was usually the main provider of care and things like that for my animal. That's okay as long as it's getting done. It doesn't really matter who does it, as long as it gets done. And a child isn't necessarily going to keep up with all of that, in my opinion, without supervision. So as long as you're supervising and making sure it's all done for the animal's benefit, and the animal's being handled gently and properly and everything's being done right, then it just kind of depends on you, right? But what's an easy pet? There isn't really one. Even a super easy pet or low maintenance pet like a tarantula is still something specialized. It's still a very exotic animal that most people don't know how to take care of. It's still an animal that requires some care. They are fragile as well. Tarantulas are very fragile to pick up and hold. So without the knowledge on how to properly handle them or take care of them, that can be risky as well. Some animals like snakes are very low maintenance in general, but snakes are also going to require special care and knowledge to take care of them properly. So it's quite a complicated answer. So it really just depends on you. I think the best pets are cats and dogs, to be honest with you, but that doesn't necessarily make them a low maintenance pet either, right? Dexter, can we scoot over here? And Iggy, we're going to turn you around. I know. You don't want to be away from Iggy. You can snuggle back up. That's very good. When Dexter is out and about, he feels a lot more comfortable being next to Iggy than he does being out in the open, which makes a lot of sense for guinea pig natural history because they're herd animals that are also prey animals, so they tend to feel more comfortable next to each other. Iggy's a lot more brave. Looks like a little lion over here. So it's a very complicated answer. I love to educate my viewers and guests on their pet care. So if you guys ever need anything and have specific questions, I'm here for you. I never mind helping you with your pet care. If you guys have a pet at home and you're just like a little bit clueless, maybe you are curious why your pet is doing something or what I would recommend, I can always let you know what I suggest, and we go from there. Also, if you ever have an animal like little Linus, who recently came into our life a couple of days ago, if you ever have a little or big animal, for that matter, that you are looking to rehome or you've heard somebody is looking to rehome, let me know. If we cannot adopt the animal into our collection, we can always reach out to our community and see if there's somebody that would be an appropriate home for that animal. It could be an exotic animal of any kind. We don't necessarily have all the room in the world, but sometimes we have room. You never know. Like I said, Linus came into our life at the right time because we had said goodbye to Shirley, so we had the room and space, and I was really happy about that, and that worked out perfect. And we're able to give him a good, safe home, and he's wonderful, as you saw. So sometimes it works out perfect, and sometimes we have like a friend of a friend, or some sort of through the grapevine, we know somebody that knows somebody, etc. That would be a good home for XYZ animal, especially exotics, especially reptiles. That happens to us a lot. So just let us know. We're here for you. We're happy to help with anything at all. That is part of our passion here at Once in a Wild, is helping you out with your animals at home or potential adoptions, things like that, as well as educating you guys on animals in general and dispelling myths about them, making sure that you guys fall in love with animals too and want to protect them and things like that. And pets are very important too, just like other animals, like wildlife as well. Guinea pigs, of course, are a domestic species of animal. They are rodents. Pretty cool. Okay, you guys, I think I have made my point tonight. I hope you really enjoyed seeing our newest animal ambassador, Linus the Hedgehog. And I hope oh, sorry, buddy. I hope you have enjoyed, goodness gracious. I hope you have enjoyed seeing Dexter and Iggy, the guinea pigs, as well. Settle down back over here. And we hope to see you next time here at Once in a Wild Wednesday. We're here each and every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on all of our social media now. We're all over the place. I used to say on Facebook and YouTube, but we're all over the place now. All the links are down below if you want to follow us on social media and support us that way. We also have donation options, tipping options, as well as sponsorships for our animals at onceinawild.com/donate. There is a link down below in the description box, or you can go to onceinawild.com, scroll all the way to the bottom and click the donate box, and that will give you all your options for donations as well and sponsorships. So we hope to see you next time, and I hope you had a great time learning about hedgehogs and learning about guinea pigs. And without further ado, we'll go ahead and close, you guys. Bye.
We are nothing close to ordinary, but we love to be your friend. Hold our hands and let's have fun together, singing as loud as you can. Everybody singing once in a while, together. Once in a while, I wanna hear you say once in a while. Let the fun from me and you.
Okay, you guys, we hope to see you next week here on Once in a Wild Wednesday. Same time, same place. And we hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you later. Bye.